let's talk about working with images. All I've done here is I've added a section and I've added a 4-part column. So let's say you're going to put your images here that you want to represent what you're doing. You do 3, 4, whatever you decide. I decided 4 for the fun of it. You're going to click this plus element, and this is where your elements come on the right-hand side. And you see here it says all text, form, blog, all these kind of things. Just scroll down to where it says image. And it's going to say put your image. Now when it says that, there's just a gray button. Again, we're going to go to the left-hand side. That's where we find our things. So let's go in here, and I'm going to put this picture right here. This is a picture I've already uploaded. Let me show you how to upload a file. You click upload. You find the file, so I'm going to put a picture of me in there. Why not? Just for the fun of it. Then when you upload it, you double click on it, and that adds it to the section. So let's add another one. Let me show you how this works. Real simple. Add element, click on image, click over here to upload the image, and I'm going to upload a file. I'm going to click on another image of me. Let's get one without a background. This one. I'm going to open it. And then double click on that. So you see there are 2 images, 2 different sizes. You're going to add the element. You're going to select the element. So what if the element's already in there? So let's click on the image. We're going to go in here to the image section, and you can just double click on what you want to upload. Super simple. That's how it works to start with. Now we're going to want to do some slight little adjustments. So let's say I want the background of this image to be a different color. Well, I'm already on this segment, so I can go over here, and you see the background color on the left-hand side. We can do padding. Padding scoots it over. It will also make it smaller because it will fit differently. This is the padding is how much space is within these squares. So that orange square, how much space goes inside here. Margin is how much space it's moved away from other things. You have margin on the top and on the bottom of this. Okay, so if you notice I move the margin and the whole square, that whole orange square moves down. But then if I move the padding top, inside the square moves down. So padding is inside, margin is outside. Then I can change my background color. I'm just going to do red for the fun of it. We'll do purple, and see that changes the color of this box. Now if I want to change the color of this whole row, I'm going to go back out to the blue like we talked about. Okay. So let's click on the outside here. Maybe we want this whole section to be black. Now you see how this little image now has a background color. Now these images, as you can tell, they have backgrounds that are see-through. We don't necessarily always use with that, so let's find one that doesn't have a see-through. Let's just do one of these guys. Okay, so now you see what's happening. This image is smaller than this image, so let's scoot this one over a little bit. Look at that, isn't that cool? We can scoot all of these over, having them adjust as big or as small as you want. You can also dictate the size. This right here is your height and width. So let's say that I want all of them to be exactly 100. Then I can click each of these boxes, and that makes them equal size, so I don't have to worry about one of them being bigger than another one. A lot of times when you do that, it's going to be very important. Okay, so of course you'd want to be bigger than this. I'm just giving you an example. Now also this is important when you're creating a website you want to be found online. Your alt text, that's if the image doesn't show up, what shows up instead of the image is a text image or a text. So this would say picture of Lyle's face, picture of Lyle with body or something like that. This would say confidence builds enthusiasm. You want your alt text to be something that represents your company or your business. What would people search for? They're not going to search for Lyle's head, right? But they're going to look for business consultant Lyle leads. Then this one, I would do something slightly different. Business coach Lyle leads. Because the computer, the internet, Google, cannot look at a picture. They can only see the alt text. So the alt text defines it. What else can we do? Let's remove this black background for a minute. Let's go back to white so you can see this. Let's click on this one. We can also do some actions. So you can, let's go to the top here. You can have it open in pop-up window. So when they click on it, it becomes bigger on the screen. You can actually have it go to URL. Every picture can be a link going somewhere. And we'll cover links in another training. I just want you to see where that's at. We can go to themes and look here in these themes. See this right here? I can click on this. And now it puts a white border around it. And I'm going to scoot these out of here. Let me make this a little bit bigger so we can see this. Sorry about that. I made it 100 on purpose, but let's make it 400. Not 4,900. 400. And then we're going to need to make these other ones smaller so that that one has more space. All right. Now, I do not suggest using these little buttons to scoot things over. I'm just showing you what can be done. Okay. So you can see this a little bit easier. And we can delete this whole section. Look at that. I can delete the whole column. And now we're down to just one giant column. So now we have this image. See how it put a border around it? So let's go back to our top here. Let's click on it. Themes. So look at these themes. This will put a little shadow behind it. See the shadow behind there? We can go up to the top. We can put a border around it. This rounds the corners. See how it puts a light border around there? So these little things are just easy, quick ways to make your image pop out of the page. They'll put little colors and borders around it and everything. And then you can control all of those things. So we can do it a circle. We can make it with rounded corners. We can put a dark border around it or a light border around it. We can do a transparent border around it. We can do a full dark shadow around it. We can have it black and white. Did you know you can make your colors black and white right there? How simple. And let's say the image is really big, but on a cell phone it looks really weird. You can actually push this button right here and turn that off. And that image now will not show up on a mobile phone. It will only show up on the internet. So sometimes you put a big picture, but it won't look good on the phone, but it looks good on the website. So you have to be aware of what you're putting and where you're putting it. Because the website, when it turns to mobile, basically it starts at this square here, then moves to this square here, then moves to the next square, and it just moves all these squares down and just lines them up on top of each other. So what would happen is this, the text would come, then you'd have a picture, then you'd have another picture. All right, so hopefully that helps you understand how to work with images. If you have any questions, make sure you reach out on our Facebook group specifically.